President Harris.
All of us were hit with a little bit of a political sucker punch. The bad news is that Kamala Harris does not have the same baggage as Joe Biden because whatever we might say, Kamala Harris is a lot younger, and Kamala Harris is obviously not struggling in the same ways that Joe Biden did.
Candid comments there, and they may just be an accurate assessment of how much Biden dropping out of the race has shaken things up, truly. But compare what you heard from Senator Vance there to what former President Donald Trump said publicly just a few moments ago on Fox.
I think she's a worse candidate than him. She's far more radical left. She is younger. I mean, she's 60 years old. A lot of people, I didn't realize she was 60. I thought she was a little younger.
Joining me now is the reporter who broke this story, Isaac Arnsdorf, who is the national political reporter for the Washington Post. And it's great to have you, Isaac. I mean, this is the first time we're actually getting to listen to what Senator Vance said during that fundraiser. You obtained this audio. You reported on it earlier, but now tonight we're hearing it for the first time. And it's just notable given Trump was on Fox tonight just a few moments ago saying that he actually thinks she's a worse candidate. What do you make of what you heard in this audio from a private fundraiser compared to what we're hearing from the Trump campaign publicly about her viability?
Well, that's exactly right, Caitlin. I mean, it's not exactly an earth-shattering insight that Harris, in just a short week since taking over the Democratic ticket, has raised a ton of money, energized a lot of Democrats, brought out a lot of new volunteers, and has been able to make speeches and draw crowds and land attacks in ways that Biden was struggling to do. I mean, we can all see that for ourselves. The thing is that the Trump campaign had been publicly, including Vance himself, had been publicly taking this line of, nothing to see here, nothing has changed, and that's different than the message she had for these donors behind closed doors.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess you're right. It makes sense because essentially they're saying, they want to act like everything's fine and that it hasn't changed much. Obviously, it has changed. We all know that, and people do concede that. But the question is, what does this attack look like on Harris? How are they going to go after her since they do have a new opponent? And he also talked about that on this audio that you obtained. I want everyone to listen to that.
We wonder, how is the world caught on fire? How is there a new war in seemingly every continent in the world? And it's because Kamala and the Democrats lied about Joe Biden. It kind of leads into the good news because no person in the United States of America owns the disastrous Harris-Biden agenda more than his own vice president of the United States.
What's interesting is, part of this audio is they did seem to have concerns about shaping perception of her because everyone has a fully formed opinion on President Biden, on former President Trump. He thinks from that audio, it sounds like that it's not that case with the vice president here.
Right. There's another part in the remarks where he basically says, love him or hate him. Basically, everyone already knew Joe Biden and Donald Trump, and most people had their minds made up. And Harris is just a lot less well-known, a lot less well-defined. And so it's a race between both campaigns to try to shape Americans' impressions of her, almost like a reintroduction. And the Democrats are out with their story of how they're trying to position her as a prosecutor and as an optimistic voice for the future. And you're seeing the Trump campaign kind of try a lot of different things right now. And in the Senator Vance was talking about that in the clip we just heard, some of the ways they're trying to pin some of Biden's record on her, make her responsible for that, accuse her of covering up for Biden's health. And then you also heard in the clip from former President Trump talking about some attacks that are specific to Harris, making her out to be a San Francisco liberal. So it's kind of a grab bag at this point still. They are seeing what kind of message they can drive that's going to connect.
Yeah, they're still coalescing around that line of attack. And I do want to note that the Trump-Vance campaign put out a statement tonight on this audio, and they said poll after poll shows President Trump leading Kamala Harris as voters become aware of her weak, failed, and dangerously liberal agenda. Her far-left ideas are even more radioactive than Joe Biden, particularly in the key swing states that will decide this election, like Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin. Wanted to make sure we noted what their response to this was. Isaac Arnsdorf, great reporting. Thank you for joining us.